guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today's video is going to be all about my pre-wash hair oiling routine. This is an absolutely essential step in my wash day routine because it has so many benefits for the prevention of hair damage. And y'all know I've had my fair share of damage. In this video, I'll not only be showing you my step-by-step hair oiling routine, but I will also explain the science behind pre-wash oil treatments and answer the top 25 questions I am asked about hair oiling the absolute most. All right, let's jump on into it. In my last empties video, I told you guys that I had the chance to directly speak with Eric Presley, who is actually the inventor of Epres. If you are not familiar with Epres, I will list my initial review in the description box below, where I share my thoughts on the launch, how I felt about the product after using it a couple times, and about the fact that Eric was actually also one of the original inventors of Olaplex. But because I've been using K18 for the past 2 years and have seen such amazing results in using that treatment, I specifically wanted to ask him his thoughts on using Epres with other bond repair products. And I thought that he was gonna kind of dance around it and be vague when I brought up other brands, because that's what a lot of brands seem to do, but he surprisingly said that you can not only use Epres in conjunction with K18, but that those two products will actually complement each other really nicely. And I was really excited to hear that because I really loved the way that Epres made my hair look and feel after I used it for a couple months, but I didn't want to stop using K18 to replace it with Epres, knowing that I had seen such great results with K18. So the reason why I'm bringing all of that up in this video today is because after speaking with him a few weeks ago, I made the decision to start incorporating Epres into my hair care routine and using it as the first prep step in my pre-wash routine, meaning it's the first thing I apply before my hair oil. And even though Eric did say that Epres was specifically formulated with ingredients that allow it to penetrate through any products that you already have on your hair, I still feel like it makes more sense for me to apply Epres first and then apply my hair oil versus applying a large amount of oil and then putting Epres on top of that. Like, I don't know, it just seems kind of backwards to me to do that. So this has officially become the first step in my pre-wash routine, and this is how I use it. After brushing through my hair to make sure that it's fully detangled, I apply Epres to my hair in sections until it is fully saturated. Then I will wait the 10 minutes required for that product to fully penetrate before applying my hair oil. So now when I go ahead and apply my pre-wash oil treatment, my hair is damp, but prior to using Epres, I was applying oil to dry hair for, like several years. So I think that either works. You can apply oil to damp hair, you can apply it to dry hair. I don't think there's any reason to wet your hair if you're not using something like this before applying oil. Dry hair works just fine. Again, that's what I did for a very long time, and I saw amazing results in doing so. For that pre-wash oil treatment, yes, I am still using my OGX Extra Strength Damage Remedy Miracle Coconut Oil. I have been using this specific oil for this purpose for over a year now, and I still absolutely love it. I first decided to test this out because I was on the hunt for an oil that contained coconut oil to use for this step. I have a hair somewhere. Oh my gosh. But I continue to use this all this time later because it gives me amazing results, and it gives you guys amazing results too. This is one of those products that you guys consistently leave me comments about in the videos on all of my social media platforms, and in general, you seem to have the exact same thoughts about this that I do. It makes your hair and my hair soft, silky, shiny, and easier to detangle, while of course protecting your hair from damage. Coconut oil is a super controversial ingredient in the hair care space on social media because while some people, like myself, swear by it, others swear against it. I was actually just tagged in a video on TikTok today where somebody was talking about the fact that coconut oil is really bad for your hair because it can build up on your hair and fry your hair if you apply heat to it. But here's the truth. Coconut oil is incredibly beneficial for our hair. And here are some of the data points in existing scientific literature that prove that to be true. First of all, because coconut oil has a high affinity for proteins and a low molecular weight, it's actually able to penetrate directly inside our hair shaft. And this actually allows it to reduce protein loss in both undamaged and damaged hair when used as both a pre-wash and post-wash treatment. Other oils like vegetable oil, mineral oil, and sunflower oil do not offer this same benefit. And in general, the reason why preventing protein loss is an important benefit is because the more protein our hair loses, the more damaged it becomes. Coconut-based hair oils also benefit our hair by preventing an increase in porosity. And despite what you may have heard on social media, porosity is really just a measure of hair damage. So an increase in porosity equals an increase in damage. Other benefits include a significant decrease in in break stress and toughness, an increase in hydrophobicity, which leads to a decrease in the absorption of water. Yes, that is a good thing. I am going to list a video below that talks all about that, hydration versus moisture with our hair. A flattened cuticle surface, lubrication, prevention of surfactant absorption, increased tensile strength, prevention of weakest link progression, prevention of decementing cuticles, and filling microcavities. So it is scientifically proven that coconut oil protects our hair by preventing damage and breakage. Now that you know all about why I specifically set out to find a hair oil that contains coconut oil, let's talk about how I actually use it. So again, after I have let Epres sit in my hair for 10 minutes, I am ready to apply my OGX coconut oil. I separate my hair into two major sections, and then I pour this much oil into my hand. Hi baby, do you want to come sit with mama? Yeah. Do you want to talk about coconut oil with us? Yeah? I would love for you to. You don't need it because your hair is so perfect and gorgeous, just like you. Yeah, sweetie. I love you more than anything. Want to sit on mommy's lap? I'll hold you. Just like when you were a baby. Yeah, sweetie. Yeah. So I like to rub that oil back and forth between my hands for a few seconds. I find that when that oil is spread out more, it's just easier to apply evenly all over my hair versus if it's concentrated in one area, it's going to kind of stick to certain sections more than others. And then starting with just one side of my head, I will start to gently run my fingers through my hair. And the key word here is definitely gentle, because if you have any tangles or snarls, I don't want you to use that oil to rip your fingers through it. Instead, gently loosen it with your fingers, and then you can go ahead and run your fingers with that oil through it after that. And the oil that you have on your fingers will actually help you to separate it as well, because again, lubrication. And while I am running my fingers through my hair, I'm applying it on my lengths and ends, starting at about chin length, working all the way down to the ends. After all of that oil has been applied to one side of my hair, I go ahead and pour out more oil onto my hand, and I pour out the exact same amount that I did the first time. And I'm still going to be applying this on the same side of my head, but the purpose of this second application is to really make sure that I haven't missed any areas. So again, I'll kind of do a once over where I pass through everything with my fingers, feel for any areas that might feel bare and don't have oil on it, but then I will actually separate my hair into several sections so that I can just make sure to pass through each of those and ensure that my hair is as evenly covered as possible. I'll also make sure to intentionally go over the ends of my hair a couple of times because that area of our hair is the weakest and needs the most protection. Then I will repeat that exact same process on the other side of my head. So again, pouring that amount of oil out 2 times so that I have used 4 times that amount of oil on my entire head. Keep in mind, this is what works for my head of hair. I have a lot of hair in here, so that's not going to be the amount that works for every single person. It's not like a universal recommendation. In fact, it definitely shouldn't be. If your hair is significantly thinner than mine, then you're likely going to want to use significantly less oil. If it's significantly thicker, oh my God, does your neck feel broken all the time from how heavy that must be? You're probably gonna wanna use a bit more oil than that. The goal should just be to evenly coat your hair as much as you are able to with that oil without trying to pile on a heavy amount. After that, I like to use the lubrication of the oil on my hair strands to brush through my hair one final time. Again, make sure I don't have any existing tangles, and also do one final kind of even distribution of the oil all over my hair strands. And if there are any areas where the oil is more concentrated, that can kind of help to spread it out a little bit more. And that's it. I personally like to apply my oils at least 30 minutes before washing my hair, up to as long as sleeping in it overnight. I think that this is a great way to condition and protect your hair, so if you're able to work that into your routine where you can remember to apply it the night before, I definitely would recommend it. All right, now that you know my exact routine, let's address some of those questions that I am asked about this routine and oiling in general the absolute most. Number 1, can I just use plain coconut oil? Yes, you can definitely just use plain coconut oil for this step if you would like to, but just be mindful in doing that. Don't over apply it. A lot of people seem to find that regular coconut oil builds up on their hair a lot more easily and is more difficult to remove in the shower with shampoo. What about other oils like argan oil or jojoba oil? Coconut oil is the oil that has all of these amazing proven benefits, and other oils like, for example, argan or jojoba oil don't have all of the exact same benefits of coconut oil. I definitely definitely think coconut oil is the absolute best for damage prevention. How often do you do scalp oil treatments? Never. I personally do not apply oils to my scalp because I have an oily scalp, and I just find that that interferes with my cleansing process, and I want to make sure that my scalp is getting as clean as possible every single time I wash it, given that I don't wash every day. Can I apply the oil to my scalp if I want to? Is that beneficial? 100%. If you want to apply this oil or any other oil to your scalp before washing, you can absolutely do that. I do think that that can be very beneficial for specific purposes. Like, for example, if you have a really dry scalp, a flaky scalp that's kind of paired along with that dryness, oiling your scalp beforehand can be a really nice way to help to ease that dryness. I just don't think that scalp oiling is necessary for everybody, especially in the way that social media makes it seem like it is. Is there anyone who shouldn't apply oil? For example, someone with a dry or oily scalp, someone with a combination scalp, someone with a flaky scalp. When it comes to applying oil treatments on your lengths and ends, I think everybody can benefit from that. But like I was just saying, it's not necessary for everyone to apply oil to their scalp. You can certainly try it out if you would like to and see how it works for you, but my general recommendation would be to stick to that more if you have a dry scalp and less if you have an oily scalp. When should you not oil or apply a pre-shampoo oil treatment? I am guessing is what that means. If you have a heavy amount of buildup on your hair that you want to try to remove, or maybe you're having a difficult time removing, I would not apply oil on top of that. One of the key signs of having buildup on my hair is when my texture starts to feel really different, like stiff or sticky or dry. Because normally it just feels lightweight, soft, kinda, I don't know, bouncy, silky, whatever you want to call it. And if I have buildup on it, it's gonna be like stiff and heavy and weighed down. So whenever that happens, which is not often, but it does happen every now and then, I'll skip the oil, I'll just use a clarifying shampoo, and then I feel like my texture is reset and it feels back to normal. Should I use a pre-wash oil every time I wash my hair? I think that that can be left up to your discretion and how damaged your hair feels or how much buildup you feel that you have on your hair. If it was me washing my hair every day, I would use an oil treatment every time, again, unless I have buildup that I'm trying to remove, or if I was going to be using K18, which we'll get into in a little bit. Can you use a pre-wash oil too often? Nope, I don't think you have to worry about using this too often. The only thing that you may start to notice is some of that buildup, and again, that may be where you want to skip it and reset, but otherwise you don't have to worry about this damaging your hair. How much oil should you apply? Do we want to drench or lightly coat? I would say somewhere in between those two things. I wouldn't recommend trying to drench your hair in oil because that's just going to make it really difficult to remove. You'll likely end up with remaining residue even after you've shampooed your hair. But lightly coating, I hesitate to recommend that just because I want to make sure that everyone is evenly coating all of their hair strands. So I would say apply as much as you need to ensure that you don't have any areas that feel bare and without oil. And then once that happens, stop. It's not like you're trying to go over those areas 5 more times. Should I apply oil to wet or dry hair? Like I explained earlier, I don't think that there's a need to wet your hair before applying oil unless you are using some sort of product that requires your hair to become wet or damp as a result of using it, like Epres. How long should I leave the oil on? I would say 30 minutes feels the safest to me. I don't think I've ever seen any journal or scientific literature talking about the exact amount of time that is recommended for this step, so 30 minutes would be my general recommendation at a minimum. Can I sleep with oil in my hair? Yes, you can. Am I trying to wash the oil off when I wash my hair or just wash as normal? This is a really great question. It actually ties into some questions I'm asked all the time that we're gonna get to in a little bit, but you are just trying to wash your hair as normal. So washing your scalp, not shampooing your ends, which means that you're going to want to apply the amount of oil that allows you to do that with your shampoo process and not need to shampoo your ends. And hopefully that helps you to figure out how much oil to apply, because it's like if you need to shampoo your ends in order to not have oil residue after, then you're probably applying too much and you want to use less. Can you still use K18 if you use a pre-wash oil? I would not recommend it, and the brand doesn't recommend it either. They do not recommend the use of any sort of pre-shampoo treatment because in order for K18 to work as effectively as possible, you kind of want to have a clean slate, clarified, clean hair in order for that product or the bond repair ingredient to penetrate your hair fiber. So my K18 wash days, which happen 3 to 4 times a week, just kind of whenever I feel like I need it, are the only wash days where I do not apply a pre-shampoo oil treatment. Otherwise, if I'm not using K18, which is the rest of my wash days, I'm using this oil treatment every time. Do you still use conditioner when you apply pre-wash oils? Yes, I do. I still think it's super important because, again, you are shampooing after applying that oil, and after shampooing, you always want to make sure that your hair is conditioned. Why doesn't the oil residue come out of my hair after I wash it? There are a few different things that could cause this. Number one being what we just talked about. You could just be applying too much and going in with too heavy of an amount of product. So try to use less while still ensuring that your hair is evenly coated, and if that doesn't work, it may be that the type of oil that you're using is just too heavy for your hair type. So this oil specifically is definitely on the thicker side. That is something that I've mentioned in several videos before. If you have very fine, thin hair that's easily weighed down, this may just be too thick and heavy for your hair, and you'll want to go for a lighter weight alternative. Thankfully, OGX does have a couple other coconut oil alternatives. They have a serum and a mist. So the serum will be a little bit lighter weight than this. The mist is going to be the lightest weight option. So if this is not working for you, definitely try one of those instead. And the last thing that could be happening here is that your shampoo just does not cleanse your hair effectively enough. If you're using an extra gentle shampoo, an all natural shampoo, it may not have cleansing agents that are deep enough for you, and I would recommend trying something that offers a better cleanse. Why does my hair feel drier when I use pre-wash oils? This is likely because you have oil residue on your hair after you have washed it. It's pretty much the same idea as having product buildup. Regardless of how conditioning a product can be for your hair, if you apply too much, it can make your hair feel dry. And that same thing holds true for every type of conditioning product. Leave-in conditioning sprays, creams, lotions, serums. When you apply too much of that product, it can make your hair feel stiff, dry, just not pleasant to the touch, just because of the fact that you have buildup on it. And if that's something that you're experiencing, refer back to the question we just talked through for some steps as to how to attempt to fix it. Why are some stylists against oiling? So I think I have one general thought as to why this is, but if you're a stylist who is against hair oiling, you can always leave your thoughts in the comments below. What I have gathered from videos where I see stylists saying that you should not apply coconut oil to your hair is that those stylists are talking about applying coconut oil straight from the jar, like a pure coconut oil, as a leave-in oil. And that's not something that I would recommend doing either. However, I do think it's incorrect to say that any product with coconut oil will fry your hair if you use heat with it in. Did that sentence make sense? Products containing coconut oil can be formulated to be heat protectants, and one that I can think of off the top of my head is the Bumble and Bumble Hairdresser's Invisible Oil, but there are several others as well that offer heat protection but contain coconut oil. Another is Pureology Strength Care. No, it's not. Pureology Color Fanatic. Why did I just call it that? My favorite leave-in conditioning spray, Pureology Color Fanatic, is just one of the many leave-in products that offer heat protection and contain coconut oil. Because of course, coconut oil being formulated in a hair care product is very, very, very different than pure coconut oil straight from the jar, from the shelf at the grocery store. Not the same thing. Do scalp oils help your hair grow? How do I want to talk about this? Just oil, period. Like, the type of product, the format of the product is not something that's going to make your hair grow more quickly. It's not going to do that. However, there are certain ingredients, like for example, rosemary oil, that can be formulated in oils or can stand alone that may help to encourage hair growth. There is one study on this topic that people reference all the time. I'll list it below. It talks about how rosemary oil was used and how it was effective in treating patients with androgenetic alopecia in comparison to minoxidil. But this is definitely an area of hair science that is extremely limited in information. I have seen several comments from people saying that rosemary oil has helped them. They feel it has helped them with hair growth. I have seen other people say it didn't do anything for them. So I think it's just totally up to you and what you personally would like to test out and experiment with. It's not something that I feel the need to use in my hair care routine. And again, it's about the ingredients in the oil, not just oil, period. So putting this all over your scalp is not gonna make your hair grow more quickly. I wish it worked like that. I really do. But OGX coconut oil has silicones in it. What are your thoughts on that? I love it. I love it. What can I say? So the specific ingredients in this are dimethicone, a silicone, isopropyl myristate, an emollient conditioning agent, dimethiconol, another dimethicone, C1215 alkyl benzoate, which is another softening emollient, argan oil, coconut oil, and then we have a few other things in here like vanilla extract, fragrance, and safflower oil. I think it's great that silicones are added to this formulation. Silicones offer several of the same benefits as coconut oil, not all of the exact same benefits, but they also help to create a layer around the hair that makes our hair more hydrophobic, which is a good thing. It adds much needed lubrication to the hair to protect it from mechanical damage and breakage. In my opinion, it's definitely one of the big reasons why this works so well for so many people. It's not just the coconut oil, it's the entire formulation, including silicones. If you are new here and you're confused about silicones, you're hearing conflicting information online, that is very normal. That is just, I mean, that's the case with everything in beauty, I feel, but especially silicones and certain ingredients in the hair care space. I will list a video below where I do a deep dive on silicones, share some science around them, and why you do not have to avoid them. In fact, why I wouldn't recommend avoiding them. Will this oil help with hair damage from swimming? Yes, 100%. That's actually one of my biggest tips in helping to protect your hair from swimming-related damage. I actually do have an entire video talking about that and just summer-related damage in general. Obviously, it's not summer right now, but if any of you have upcoming vacations, that video will be listed below if you would like some help. How do you not get it to ruin your pillowcase? I don't. It really drives me nuts having the little oil stains on my satin pillowcase. I think the thing that helps me the most is securing my hair as much as possible, or like maybe securing is not the right word. Concealing is probably the better word to use for that. So making sure that my hair is in some sort of braid or twist or in a sleepy tie or something like that where it's not all just like splayed out. I don't do that anyway because it's not good for your hair, but the more your hair is spread out, the more that oil is gonna ruin your pillowcase. Can you brush your hair when it has oil in it? I've heard it's not okay. I was confused about this one. I saw it several times. Like, is it okay to brush my hair? I actually posted a video about my coconut oil routine on TikTok yesterday, and I saw someone say, I thought you weren't supposed to brush your hair with oil in it. And that has me confused because again, oil is an incredible lubricant that actually is amazing if you are going to brush your hair because it helps to minimize some of that mechanical damage that you will incur from brushing. My guess is that this actually ties into this next question, which is more shedding when oiling normal? I've seen a lot of comments from people where they are concerned about the amount of hair that they shed while they're applying a pre-shampoo oil treatment. And my best guess as to why this is happening is because people are not properly detangling their hair. They're not brushing through it before they apply those oils. If you're just gonna go in, my hands are crazy today. I am so sorry. I hope that's not too distracting. Sometimes I just like get going. I should sit on them really. If you're gonna go in and run your fingers through your hair before you brush through it, that's kind of like the same idea as brushing through your hair and having hair end up in your hairbrush. You're gonna shed some when you do that. Like obviously if you have the hair directly in your hand, you can feel it, you can see it, versus it going into your brush where you don't see that and notice that coming out as much, it's gonna feel scarier in your hand. It is. But I don't think that's something you should worry about at all because again, that is shedding that was gonna happen anyway. And the final question for this video is what should I look for if I need an alternative to the oil that you recommend? If you can't use coconut oil for whatever reason, then I would just recommend testing out some different oils and seeing what works best for you. Again, coconut oil is the only oil that I have seen in scientific literature with all of these specific benefits for damage prevention, but that doesn't mean that there aren't other ingredients out there that can be really helpful for your hair as well. Silicones, like I just mentioned, are great. You can look for things like argan oil, jojoba oil, castor oil, sweet almond oil. At that point, it should really just come down to personal preference and how that oil works for your hair specifically. All right, you guys, that is it for this video on my hair oiling routine and all of the questions that you guys had about hair oiling. I really hope you found this helpful. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Are there any other questions that I didn't get to that you would like me to address? And what hair care routine would you like me to post next? Because I definitely want to continue posting videos like this where I take one part of my routine, deep dive it, really get into specifics on what I do exactly and answer any questions that you guys have. So let me know that in the comments below. And if you did enjoy the video and would like to see more from me, please don't forget to give this a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, click on that notification bell and send my channel to a friend. Just got so dark in here. I promise the lighting in my videos is going to be changing very soon. What else? Thank you for watching my videos. I love the freaking heck out of you guys. Make sure to stay tuned for my next one because that will be up in a few days. But until then, I hope you have a great few days.